Hello guys. So for the second part of chapter 1, i-discuss natin dito are the following. So the materials, fittings, and fixtures na ginagamit natin sa plumbing. For the symbols, magsisend na lang siguro ako dito ng PDF na pwede nyong tignan at i-familiarize para magamit nyo in the future pagka magbabasa na kayo ng plano sa plumbing, no? So dito, specifically sa PowerPoint na to, materials tsaka fittings lang tayo. Or sa lecture video na to, materials lang muna tayo, no? Then, I will give you a separate lecture video on fittings. Okay? So, before tayo mag-proceed sa materials, discuss muna natin si tubing and pipe size. So, etong dalawang term kasi na to is used interchangeably. So, i-differentiate lang natin sila ngayon kung ano bang ibig sabihin pag sinabing pipe, tas pag sinabing tubo. Okay? But first, let us discuss the standard pipe sizing na ginagamit natin. Una, we have the NPS. So, ito yung pinaka-common na standard pipe sizing na makikita nyo. So, halos lahat ng pipe material, gumagamit nito. Okay? So, this originated sa North America, evolving from the IPS or the iron pipe size. Pero ano ba si IPS? So, ito kasi yung isa sa mga makalumang standard pipe sizing natin way back when wrought iron was popular. Ngayon, guys, paano ba yung sizing nito? O, ganito yan. Yung mga tao dati, simple lang mag-isip, no? Saan ba dumadalo yung tubig? Sa loob, di ba? So, tinitignan lang nila dati is yung loob lang ng pipe. So, yung size ng pipes nila dati, naka-base lang sa interior diameter ng pipe. So, pagka sinabi nating 2-inch yung pipe, so ito, sabihin natin na 2-inch itong pipe na to guys, yung tinutukoy dyan na 2 inches, ito yan. Okay? So, that is approximately 2-inch daw, according to the IPS. Tapos yung outer diameter is depende na lang sa kung gaano kakapal yung thickness ng walls niyan. So, depende sa lakas or tibay ng pipe to resist pressure. So, nag-evolve daw guys yung NPS from the IPS. O, paano yan? O, ganito. Yung mga pipes natin are only components of the system. So, parte lang siya niyan. Meron pa tayong ibang mga components such as your fittings. Ngayon guys, the people in the industry, the people who manufacture, and the people who standardize etong mga ginagamit nating materyales, wanted to make it more practical for pipes and fittings to connect para mas madali nating mabuo yung piping system natin. Ngayon, these fittings are almost always female, meaning sila yung pinapasukan, no? So to standardize, ginawa nilang fixed yung outer diameter ng pipes natin so that they always fit sa fittings. Kasi parehas yung outer diameter ng pipe tsaka interior diameter ng fittings. Pero paano exactly nag-evolve from the IPS? So si NPS kasi inherited lang yung typical outer diameter na ginagamit ng IPS. So for example, pagka sinabi mong NPS2, yung outer diameter natin is 2.375 inches, which was the typical outer diameter of pipes that used IPS. Okay ba yun guys? So OD, sabi dito OD is always the same for each NPS. So gaya ng sabi natin kanina, naka-fix yan or naka-freeze. Okay? Tapos nagbabago daw yung ID depende sa pipe schedule. So i-discuss din natin yan mamaya. Tapos trivia lang sa NPS. So eto, NPS 18 to NPS 12. So yung NPS natin is hindi siya equal to our outer diameter. Pero pagka 14 pataas, kung ano yung number ng NPS nyo, yun na din yung OD ng pipe. Okay? For the visual learners, ganito siya, no, yung sinasabi ng dalawang huling bullet. Meron din tayong CTS or the copper tubing size. So ginagamit natin to for copper tubing. So meron kasi tayong copper pipe at copper tubing. Sa plumbing, pagka sinabi natin copper, yung tinutukoy natin dito is almost always copper tubing. So hindi yan parehas guys ha. So magkaiba yung standards natin for both. Yung copper tubing is used for plumbing at HVAC, typically residential and commercial, no? Pero yung pipe is used for a higher level. Yung mga mas malaki such as industrial and tsaka yung iba pang may chemical tsaka process systems. So si CTS guys refers to the outer diameter. So OD yung tinitignan natin dito for the size, no? Pero nakalagay din dito, take note, laging 1/8 inch larger yung OD natin compared sa CTS. So for example, if you have a copper pipe tas nakalagay is 2-inch copper tubing, ibig sabihin meron kang 2 and 1/8 inches na outer diameter ng pipe or 2.125 inches na outer diameter ng pipe. Okay? O siguro from the standard pipe sizing, nakaka-discuss lang natin. meron na kayong idea sa difference ng pipe tsaka tube, no? Pero ito yan. For pipe, denoted siya by its interior diameter. Most likely sa IPS to, no? Wherein, they were looking at the ID or the interior diameter dati, okay? So, for thick walls daw siya, such as the following materials, yung GI, tsaka plastic. For tube, denoted naman daw siya by its outer diameter. And ginagamit siya for thin walls such as copper tubing. Okay? Again, for our visual learners, so ito yan, yung sinasabi ng last slide. We also have pipe pressure ratings. So ito naman yung nagdidikta sa thickness ng walls natin. So palaging na-mention kanina yung schedule. So ito yon. So ito palaging partnered sa MPS. So ito guys, galing siya sa strength of materials tsaka hydraulics, no? Sa pag-aaral natin on the strength of thin-walled vessels, yung mga hoop strength, ganon, which you will be learning later on. Pero simplified lang tayo dito sa subject na to, okay? So for the schedule, we have this equation. So yung P tsaka yung S, ito lang yung mga ibig sabihin nila, no, yung mga nasa baba. So yung P is yung dinedesign natin na kayang kargahin or i-resist na pressure ng pipe. Tapos yung S is yung lakas ng material or yung kalidad niya. Okay? So for example, sabihin natin na yung S or yung kalidad ng material is fixed. And ngayon, lakihan natin yung P. So mataas yung pressure na ipapakarga natin sa pipe. So to compensate para hindi masira yung pipe, para hindi siya sumabog pagka malakas yung pressure sa loob, kailangan nating kapalan yung thickness ng wall. Tama? O common sense lang yun, no? Pagka niliitan naman natin yung pressure, ibig sabihin, ox lang na maging manipis yung walls natin. Tama? So mathematically guys, from the equation, pagka mataas yung P, tataas din yung schedule. Tama? Directly proportional sila, di ba? Therefore, you can say that this schedule is also directly proportional to the thickness. Okay? So ayan siya. Pagka mababa yung schedule, manipis yung pipe. Pagka mataas yung schedule, makapal yung pipe. Okay? So we have here an example ng table for NPS pipes with schedule. So examine nyo na lang tong itong table na to, and then try to compare schedule 40 and schedule 80. Okay? So we also have the SDR. So ratio lang daw siya ng OD at wall thickness. So i-divide mo lang yung OD by the wall thickness. So eto, baliktad naman siya sa schedule. Pagka mataas yung SDR, manipis yung pipe. Pagka mababa naman yung SDR, makapal naman yung pipe natin. Okay? We also have the pressure level rating wherein meron tayong paki sa temperature. Okay? Ayun lang yun. Then we also have weight designations. So ginagamit siya dati for steel and iron pipes. So ito yung partner naman ng IPS. So for the weight designations, we have here the following types. Ito. We have the standard, the extra strong, and the double extra strong. Simple lang mag-isip yung mga tao noon, guys. So this is basically makapal, mas makapal, and pinakamakapal. Okay? Ganun lang yung ibig sabihin yan. And yung applications nila is depende sa pressure na iloload sa kanila. Pero sabi naman natin kanina, no, the higher the pressure, the thicker the walls na kakailanganin natin. Okay? Now let us proceed sa materials. First, we have the cast iron pipe or cast iron soil pipe or the CISP. So eto, sikat siya dati, no? Pero nag-fall off siya. So madami na din kasing mga bagong material na ginagamit ngayon na mas practical or sige, sabihin na lang natin na better sa kanya, no? So durable daw siya and conveniently installed for buildings less than 25 story high. So mas mababa daw dapat sa 25 story, no? That is because of these two reasons. Una, dahil mabigat siya. So pagka gumawa ka ng vertical piping, ang ginagawa mo kasi is magi-stack ka ng madaming cast iron pipe, di ba? Since mabigat nga siya, so pwedeng lumubog yung piping system mo. Pangalawa, rigid daw siya. So hindi siya flexible tulad ng ibang pipes such as yung mga plastic. So pagka sinabi nating rigid, pagka merong dumaan na tubig, yung isang buong length ng pipe mo will move. No? So delikado dito yung joints or yung connections mo. So unlike sa mga flexible pipes na kaya mag-deform, tas babalik lang din sa dati, no? Yun din yung ginagamit ng mga flexible pipes to dampen the vibration or para patigilin yung vibration dahil sa pagdaloy ng tubig, or worst case scenario is paglindol. Pero sa cast iron pipe, hindi siya nagde-deform no? Kasi nga rigid, no? So it is less able to dampen vibration. Ibig sabihin, mas matagal mag-vibrate yung cast iron pipe. Pero ang kagandahan naman sa cast iron is hindi mo masyadong rinig yung tubig na dumadaan sa loob. Kasi nga mabigat eh, no? Ibig sabihin, mas dense siya. So unlike sa ibang pipes, say plastic pipes na pagka may dumaan na tubig sa loob, possible na marinig mo yun. Kasi nga, mas magaan siya eh. Therefore, less dense. Okay? So, mas madaling makapas yung sound waves dun sa mga plastic pipes natin. So, since nasa usapan naman na tayo ng sound, ang problema din naman guys sa cast iron no, is yung vibration. So, if may part ng structure na malapit sa kanya na it can come in contact with pagka nag-vibrate, magkakaroon ngayon tayo ng impact sound na maririnig ng buong structure. Okay? Another problem for cast iron is madali siyang kalawangin. So, yung life expectancy mo sa cast iron pipe is mababa lang. So, kailangan mo dito ng madalas na maintenance para mapatagal yung buhay niya and mas frequent mo siyang papalitan compared to when you are using other materials. So, possible din na magkaroon tayo ng localized na corrosion wherein pwedeng mabutas yung material which will then cause leaks dun sa system. Okay? So, hindi din daw sila pwedeng i-thread kasi nga brittle, no? Pag di nyo alam yung thread na term, guys, search nyo na lang threaded pipes. Pag nakita nyo yung picture, for sure, alam nyo yan, no? So, bawal daw i-thread kasi magbibitak-bitak yan. Okay? So, ito yung standard size natin for cast iron pipe. No? So, that is 1.5 meters. Take note of this. So, we also have two types, service tsaka extra heavy. So, tulad lang to ng weight designations, no? So, we have makapal, tapos mas makapal. Okay? So, yung service, makikita nyo tong ginagamit sa ibabaw ng lupa or above ground. Okay, guys? Yung extra heavy naman is sa ilalim. Pag mas makapal kasi yung pipe, mas resistant siya sa loading, no? So, kahit tabunan mo ng lupa, hindi yan basta-basta masisira. Okay? Meron din tayong mga varieties. Una is the standard. Meron tayong beveled ends sa spigot niya. And then, a bell or hub on the other end. So, ginagamit natin siya for well-fitted hub and spigot connections. Pagka nag-connect na tayo guys ng dalawang ganito, dalawang standard pipe, so you are to fit this spigot end to the hub end ng pipe. And since beveled nga yung spigot, yung bevel na yan is magsisilbi siyang parang pansil para walang leak. Tapos for interlocking na din, no? Pagka pinil natin yung gap using the traditional method of connecting, which is yung caulking. Okay? We also have the single hub pipe wherein plain-ended on one side, tas hub pa din on the other end. So according to the book of Hardo, ginagamit daw natin to guys pagka more than 150 centimeters yung length ng pipe. I mean yung length ng buong pipe, yung buong run ng pipe, okay? So basically guys, gagamitin mo kasi yung buong length ng pipe na to para mabuo yung entire length of pipe, okay? So since hindi bevel yung isang end nito, tulad nung sa spigot natin kanina, dito yung mga mag-i-install should introduce a bevel. So kumbaga, gagawa sila ng spigot manually. Next is the double hub pipe. So both ends dito are hubs. Again, according sa libro ni Fajardo, so gagamitin daw natin to if we need less than 150 centimeters of pipe. So less than the standard length ng pipe, so only a portion ng pipe yung kailangan. Ngayon, sa cast iron pipe, parang almost always you want one end to have a hub and another end with a spigot. So pag pinutol nyo to, yung double hub natin, so bali magkakaroon kayo ng dalawang ganon, no? Siguro sa isip ni Fajardo, mas maganda na dalawa na maliit na hub. Mas maganda kung dalawang maliit na hub end tas plain end yung makuha natin kesa gumamit tayo ng single hub pipe wherein pag kinat mo, magkakaroon ka ng isang maliit na hub tas plain end na pipe and isang maliit na plain pareho yung dulo na pipe. Okay? Di ko alam kung nag-get nyo yun. Basta yun, no? Lastly, we have the hubless pipe wherein both ends are plain. So, ginagamit natin to pag ayaw niyang mag-caulk. So, mas madali daw to, tas mas mura i-connect. Okay? And that is with the use of neoprene rubber sleeves. So, ang ginagawa natin dito is sinusuot natin yung sleeves sa end nila pareho. Kumbaga parang initial connection nila yon, no? Tapos, i-fix natin yung connection nila using a coupling para hindi kumalas yung dalawang pipe na to away from each other. Okay? Di ba sabi natin kanina na meron tayong traditional way of connecting cast iron pipes and that is through caulking. And this is for bell or hub and spigot cast iron pipes. So tingin tayo sa figure. So ang ginagawa natin dito guys is ini-insert natin yung spigot sa may hub. And as you can see here, merong bead end yung spigot. Okay? Ito yung bead end ng spigot natin. Or yung sinasabi natin kaninang bevel. Okay? So protruding nga siya. And because it is protruding, ang nangyari, etong bevel na to, this becomes a mechanism for watertight sealing tsaka interlocking ng pipes. Okay? Ngayon, meron pa ding space dyan after mong ilagay yung ano na to, di ba? Yung uh, spigot end ng pipe dun sa may hub end ng pipe natin. Okay? And yung space na yan, guys, is what we call the annular opening. So, to create a watertight connection and a fixed connection between two pipes, kailangan mong fill upan yung space na yan. To do that, guys, kailangan mo muna ng okum. So, you can search this one. Pero, rope lang siya. Okay? So, nilalagay natin muna dyan. And then, kinokompact natin. Okay? So, etong okum talaga yung nagbibigay ng watertight seal dito sa connection. After nating malagyan yan, we need then to to seal yung rest of the annular space with molten lead. So yung yung iba lead strips or parang lead wire yung ginagamit to fill the annular opening. Tapos pinipilit na lang i-compact yan until maging punong-puno doon sa loob. And eventually magiging tight yung fit. Pero molten lead talaga yung ginagamit yan Nagbabanggit lang ako ng practice. So let us elaborate doon sa sa interlocking mechanism na sinasabi ko on the bevel ng spigot. Nakikita nyo dito, pagka na-fill upan na yung annular space and dahil dyan sa bevel na yan, pagka let's say hinila natin sa magkabilang pipe, ang mangyayari is hindi siya mahuhugot, no? Kasi may normal force sa interface ng bevel tsaka ng fill, no? Na kumukontra sa force na huhugot sa pipe out of the hub. Pagka walang bevel yan, so nawawala yung interlocking mechanism natin and we rely solely on friction. Okay? Meron din tayong sinusunod na dimensions for the cork joints. So 1 pulgada daw guys yung depth ng molten pig lead. So dito. So ano daw guys? At least 1 inch daw. Ito. Okay? 1 inch. So pwedeng mas malalim yan. Okay lang yan. Pero wag lang tayong liliit sa 1 inch. Okay? Nakalagay din dito pig sa molten lead. Nakalagay pig. So ito, mukha daw kasing baboy yung ginagamit na mold for the molten pig lead. Kaya ganyan yung pangalan. Okay? So we also have the extension. So etong extension na to, pataas yan. Okay? Or out of the annular opening. So pwede kayong mag-extend. And syempre okay lang din pag hindi. Maximum yung sabi. Okay? So hindi naman minimum. Sa iba nga is mas malalim minsan yung surface ng lead dun sa bunganga ng opening. Now let us proceed sa acid resistant cast iron pipe. So cast iron pipe lang din to pero may nadagdag lang na ibang materyales which is etong silicone. Ngayon etong silicone na to, it makes the pipe more acid resistant as the name suggests, no? So eto prone pa din to sa corrosion tulad ng typical na cast iron pipe kaso lesser na, okay? So wala kang magagawa diyan kasi cast iron pa din yan eh. Meron din tong lining sa loob to safeguard the inside of the pipe sa acid. Which is expected na dadaloy sa pipe na to. Okay? Ngayon guys, pagka yung lining na yan nalagas, so eventually yung pipe mo kakainin yan ng acid. Okay? Pero ito, pwede siyang gamitin sa mga laboratories tsaka industries kung saan acid-based yung dumadaan sa mga pipes. Okay? Next, you have asbestos cement pipe, also known as transite pipe. So, transite pipe yung tawag sa kanya because actually, transite is the name of the brand na gumawa nito. Okay, sila yung nag-manufacture tsaka nag-patent. So, sabi dito, gawa daw siya sa Portland cement and asbestos fiber. So, dito, yung silbi ng asbestos fibers is para mapataas ng onti yung tensile tsaka flexural strength ng pipe na to. Kasi it acts as a reinforcement, no? Pero, rigid at brittle pa din siya guys Pagka binend mo, possible na bibitak-bitak or magka-crack. Basta masisira yan, no? And then sabi dito, since same material lang naman ang ginagamit sa konkreto, maganda daw siya for embedment sa concrete structures. So kumbaga parang in a way, nagkakaroon kasi tayo ng homogeneity. Okay? Pero ano guys, kahit na sinabing maganda i-embed, wag nyo nang gamitin to kasi pinagbabawal na siya due to health concerns. So ang problema dito is yung possible erosion of the cement. Malalagas yung semento and if that happens, may expose yung fibers natin. Then eventually, matatanggal yan, no? Pagka it breaks free from the pipe, possible maging airborne yung fiber and baka masinghot nyo. Okay? So, delikado kasi yan sa katawan. So, asbestos pa naman is known to be dangerous, no? Meron din tayong sakit named after this, di ba? Which is yung asbestosis, which is, I think sa construction industry because mataas yung rate ng exposure natin sa asbestos. Okay? We also have the bituminous fiber sewer pipe, so also called the Orangeburg pipe. So Orangeburg yung tawag sa kanya kasi unang minas-produce yung gantong klase ng pipe by a fiber conduit company. Basta kumpanya to na gumagawa ng pipes using fibers or integrating them sa pipe, no? And then ang kumpanyang to was from Orangeburg, New York. So yung mga tao napansin nila na nanggagaling sa lugar na to yung pipe, kaya tinawag siyang Orangeburg pipe. So si Orangeburg pipe, popular siya during the 1950s to 1960s when demand for wood fiber was at its peak. Okay? So during this period, kasi post World War II eh. Ano ba nangyari nung post World War II? This was the Cold War, tama, between the big nations. So to meet housing demands during this time kasi nasa recovery period tayo, no? Pa-recover tayo galing giyera. So, the pipe was used sa mga tirahan kasi mura siya, tapos madali i-install, no? And since medyo naging scarce siguro yung steel and iron after the World War, kasi ayun yung gamit nila for war, no? So, nagkaroon ng mas mataas na demand for wood para sa mga pipes. And since Cold War nga, the rest siguro ng steel is used sa mga ginagawa nila dati during the World War. I mean the Cold War. Okay? So, si Orangeburg pipe is made up of layers of compressed oil tar pitch impregnated groundwood fibers. Pinakamura daw siya, kaya nga siya ginamit dati after World War kasi ginamit siya as part of the rapid development sa recovery stage ng mundo, no? And ayan, gamit daw siya for sewer and septic tank installation. So pang DWB siya or it serves the same way as yung mga orange na pipes natin sa bahay. Okay? So si Orangeburg pipe, guys, is lightweight. Ang kagandahan niyan, madali siyang i-transport, no? At the same time, madali siyang i-install. So it is also flexible daw. So unlike our previous materials. So ito pwede siyang mag-deform without breaking agad-agad, no? Similar to plastics. So it is not as brittle, no? Pero syempre, hindi din yan as durable kasi nga kahoy. Okay? Ngayon ang problema dito is yung pagiging kahoy niya. Gaya ng sabi ko, hindi siya as durable, so hindi siya ganun katibay. So sabihin natin na pagka nadaganan to ng mabigat, possible na magkaroon siya ng permanent deformation at mafa-flatten siya. So, mawawala yung shape niya, ganun, no? It is also susceptible to moisture, so pwedeng pasukin ng tubig. Kahit na sabihin natin ginawa natin siyang hydrophobic using the oil tar, pagka pinasok yan ng tubig, pwedeng paghiwa-hiwalayin ng tubig yung layers niyan. Pagka binaon din natin yan sa lupa, possible din na magkaroon tayo ng root intrusion or pwedeng daanan yan ng roots ng mga halaman. And if that happens, guys, syempre masisira yung pipe, no? Or possible magkaroon tayo ng clogging sa loob. Next is the vitrified clay pipes. Tinatawag silang terracotta pipes, no? So, ang ibig sabihin lang naman kasi ng terracotta is baked earth. Meaning, when we say vitrified clay pipes, niluluto yan. And in high temperatures, gaya ng nakalagay dito para ma-achieve natin yung vitrification na tinatawag wherein nagiging glass state, kumbaga yung clay natin. Okay? So, rigid siya, guys, not flexible, meaning it does not deform tulad ng mga plastics. So, durable siya, kaya lang brittle at the same time, no? So, it is strong and tough. Matigas siya, gano'n, no? And it can withstand load. Kaya nga siya binabaon sa lupa, di ba? Kaya lang, guys, when there is sudden fracture due to, say for example, sharp impact or say pinilit nating event, so ang mangyayari dyan is magbibitak siya. Okay? So, ginagamit natin to for wastewater collection systems and it is also highly resistant to most acid waste. So as far as I remember, guys, pinagbabawal ata na ipagamit ni RNPCP to pagka sa ano sa ibabaw ng lupa mo siya i-install, okay? Gusto lang natin ni RMPCP nakabound to sa lupa, no? So verify natin 'yan once na makaabot tayo sa ano sa DWB systems. Pero ano o ganun at nandun 'yun as far as I remember. Ang problema natin sa vitrified clay pipes is vulnerable siya sa root infiltration, guys. Okay? Soil pa din kasi 'to, no? So yung roots ng mga halaman, mga puno, dadaanan at dadaanan ah, yung pipes natin pagka malapit. So what we can do is i-encase natin sa concrete para di mag-penetrate yung roots sa mismong pipe. And meron ulit tayong standard pipe length dito, guys, which is 75 centimeters. Ayan, take note lang ulit ha. Next is lead pipe na hindi na ginagamit ngayon. Syempre, we learn from the past, pero not totally, no? Discussed sa history na merong lead poisoning due to lead pipes, no, that contributed to the downfall ng Roman Empire. Okay? So sabi ko nga, we learn from the past, but not totally, no? Kasi nga meron pa din namang mga tirahan na meron pa din ganyan. And ongoing naman yung replacement efforts para mapalitan lahat ng lead pipes. Kasi nga, nako-contaminate yung tubig dyan eh. Okay? So yung lead pipes, highly resistant to acid daw siya, pwedeng ibaon sa lupa, and pang sanitary pipes lang. Okay? Hindi siya pwedeng gamitin for water supply pipes. So we also have galvanized steel pipe. Pagka sinabi natin galvanized, ibig sabihin it is zinc coated so that it is resistant to rusting. So ito, it is made from mild steel daw, and it is easily corroded by alkaline and acid water. Or to be more precise, itong alkaline tsaka acid water, nilalagas niya yung zinc coating, which in turn puts the pipe at risk of rusting or corrosion. Okay? So ganun lang din pag sa hot water, no? Mas mabilis malagas yung zinc coating, kaya di dapat siya gamitin sa hot water supply line. So we have here another standard length, which is 6 meters, and this pipe also have prefabricated fittings para madali silang i-connect, no? So nati-thread din sila since they are not brittle naman. So fittings dito can be both threaded and non-threaded. So kailan nyo pwede at hindi pwedeng gamitin itong pipe na to. If we talk about practicality, I think there are better materials compared dito. Okay? Pero pagka gusto mo talagang gamitin, basta wag mong gamitin sa piping wherein mainit na tubig yung dumadaan. Okay? Wag mong gamitin pagka within your pipe system, merong portion na brass or copper. Kasi pag connect mo yung pipe na yung pipe na to, tas yung copper or brass pipe. So wag mong gawin 'yon, no. Kasi possible magkaroon ng galvanic corrosion. So madaling malagas yung zinc pagka ginawa mo 'yan, okay? Typically guys, ayaw din nito na ano na mabaon sa lupa. So same reason lang din, madaling malagas yung ano, yung zinc coating. And wag niyong gamitin 'to for potable water piping. Kasi possible nga yung corrosion dito, 'di ba? So eventually when it rusts, mako-contaminate ngayon yung tubig, ganun yung mangyayari, no? Pagka ganyan, di na pwedeng inumin. Okay? Etong galvanized wrought iron pipe naman is medyo similar lang sa steel. Both low yung carbon content nila. So, mas maganda lang daw yung kalidad niya. Tapos, mas resistant to acid waste. So, etong description na nandito is based sa historical na GWI pipes or degalvanized wrought iron pipes, no? Wherein, true wrought iron talaga yung ginagamit natin. Pero, from what I've seen sa mga articles that I've read, yung GI na pangalan is just a historical name. Okay? And, pagka sinabi nating GI pipe, so we are talking about galvanized steel pipes that are made from mild steel and not really wrought iron. Okay? Next, brass pipes. So highly regarded itong mga to sa sa plumbing, guys. So problema lang talaga dito is yung pera. Kasi mahal nga siya, no. Pero still highly regarded siya. Kumbaga if you are given the opportunity na mai-installan ng brass pipes yung bahay nyo, syempre di ka tatanggi diyan, okay? Kasi mataas nga yung kalidad nito eh. So it is also corrosion resistant. It is durable and slightly ductile. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kayang-kaya niyang mag-withstand ng loads or high pressures. So, hindi ito madaling masira and at the same time, it can deflect or deform and still go back to its original state, no? So, pwede mo siyang i-bend ng hindi naman sa sobra-sobra, pero uh, it can bend, guys, without breaking. Okay? So, matagal din yung service life nito. So, matagal bago mo palitan, kumbaga. Okay? So, baka mauna ka pa, guys. So, ito yung composition natin for brass. So that is 15% zinc and 85% copper. So ano to, di ko alam kung ganito lahat, no, pero I believe pwedeng pwedeng depende din to. Nung inaral kasi namin to, ganyan yung dinidiscuss sa amin, no. 15 tapos 85. Okay? Oh. Pero ito, yung brass pipe, pwede din siya for hot and cold water supply lines. Okay? Yung brass, pantubig lang to, okay? Hindi siya ginagamit for sanitary lines. Pero hindi naman siya pinagbabawal. Okay? Hindi lang practical kasi other pipe materials suffice naman, no, for the sanitary lines. Sobrang social mo siguro, no, pagka ginamit mo yan for sanitary lines in replacement sa mga orange na PVC pipes natin. Okay? So si brass pipe, meron din siyang prefabricated fittings that we use for easier connections, and it can be threaded or non-threaded. The last na pipe material natin that is non-plastic, we have copper tubing. So durable daw sila, tsaka extremely corrosion resistant. Pero sabi dito, when you are to install copper pipes, you should avoid having too much joints daw. So as much as possible, we want to use the whole length of one pipe if we are to create a run of pipe. Okay? The reason being, first, kasi may increased risk of leaks tayo. Okay? Sa joints naman talaga guys, nagiging prone yung leaking kahit na sa anong material. Pero dito, maybe because of poor workmanship, kasi possible na maging mahirap yung connection mo dito, depende sa gagamitin mo. Also, maybe because of corrosion in the joints, kaya nagkakaroon ng leaking. Ngayon, if we have more joints, then we have a higher chance for leaks to occur. Okay? Next is because of installation complexity. So, tinutukoy dito is yung soldered connections. Kailangan kasi ng ano guys, ng workmanship dito. Unlike when you have, say for example, threaded fittings lang na nakokonekta mo. Yung dalawang pipes by just inserting yung pipe sa fitting, no. Tapos yung thread yung rason for the fixed connection. Sa soldering kasi, kailangan mo pang mag-melt ng thin solder for your connection. So you can search videos on this guys sa internet, okay? Then lastly is corrosion potential. So ito yung weakest point talaga natin sa pipe run. And this is for reasons that can be explained by chemistry, no, such as yung flux-induced corrosion, crevice corrosion, galvanic corrosion, erosion corrosion, etc. etc. No. So similar to brass. So etong pipe na to is good for, it is good to use for hot and cold water supply lines. Okay? So we have here also the classifications of copper tubing, which are the drawn tube and the annealed tube. So when we say drawn tube, matigas siya, no, making it rigid. So stiff siya, unlike the annealed tube na nabibend at nasi-shape mo. Kasi nga, soft at flexible siya. Okay guys? So the annealed tube daw can be connected using flare fittings. So you can also search for this. Tingin kayo ng images, most likely familiar din kayo dito, no? Okay? So nakikita nyo siya sa refrigeration, sa mga gas lines, etc. etc. Okay? Yung heart tube naman natin is generally, ayan yung gamit natin for plumbing. Yung annealed tube naman is generally for HVAC, pero pwede pa din naman siyang gamitin for plumbing. Okay? We also have two types of copper tubing according to application. Una is the plumbing tube, which are the tubes used for plumbing as the name suggests, no? And meron tayong apat na klase niyan. We have DK, DL, DM, and DWE. So sabi dito guys, yung outer diameter is always 1/8 inch larger than the standard size. So ito lang din yung diniscuss natin sa di ba, sa CTS, no? Kasi nga CTS yung gamit nating sizing standard for copper tubing, okay? Tapos may marka daw tayo ng indelibly colored stripe marking. So ito yung nagsasabi sa atin kung anong klase siyang plumbing tube. Meron din tayong ACR tube, which is used naman for HVAC, specifically sa air conditioning and refrigeration. Okay? So let us now discuss the types of copper plumbing tube. So una we have the K, the type K. So ito yung may pinakamakapal na wall and correspondingly pinakamabigat kasi nga mas madaming material yung pipe mo, no? And since ito nga yung may pinakamakapal na wall, syempre siya din yung pinakamalakas tsaka pinakamatibay sa kanila. Okay? So they can withstand high pressure applications and they can also withstand external loading, which is why suitable siya guys for underground installations, no. Pwede silang ibaon sa lupa. So this type has a green marking tulad ng nakikita nyo sa figure. Next is type L. So ito yung type na kumbaga sa sizes ng damit, if you have a small, medium, and a large. So ito yung medium, no? So in between siya ng type K tsaka type M. Sa bigat at sa kapal ng walls, okay? And it has the minimum weight for water supply piping daw. So ito yung ito yung madalas gamitin na copper tubing sa bahay for water supply, okay? So this has a blue marking naman. Meron din tayong type M. So ito yung pinakamanipis. Ito yung pinakamanipis yung walls and correspondingly, ito din yung pinakamagaan. Okay? So drawn tube lang daw siya. Ito it does not come in annealed type. Okay? So walang flexible na ganito. So sabi din dito guys, it can be used for water piping pero above ground lang, no? Meaning hindi siya dapat nadadaganan or dapat wala siyang load na i-carry. Pwede din daw underground basta walang structure directly sa taas niya. Pagka may structure kasi sa taas niya, yung bigat ng structure kasi is nata-transmit papunta sa kanya, no? So parang tutulong siya sa pagbuhat, no, ng bigat ng structure. So masisira yan pagka ganun, no? So underground basta outside of structures. Okay? Tapos meron siyang outside protective coating. So, pwede din siyang gamitin in replacement sa type L pagka maliit na water supply line lang and the water pressure sa loob is relatively low naman. Okay? So, kakayanin kasi yan ng manipis na pipe lang. Okay? And pwede na din daw siya pagka nagtitipid ka. Okay? Pero make sure pa din guys na it can withstand the pressure. Kasi dodoble lang yung gastos mo pagka nasira yan, tapos papalitan mo ng mas makapal. No? By the way guys, yung type M is meron siyang red na marking. Okay? Last, we have the type DWE. Ito meron siyang yellow marking. So this is the type that we use specifically for sanitary lines. Kung kanina daanan ng tubig, ito naman daanan ng tae. Okay? So medyo guys, social ka kung ganito yung gamit mo. Okay? Proceed na tayo sa sa mga plastic pipes. So ito mas mura to kaysa sa mga metal pipes natin, no, which is why in most modern construction, ganito na yung gamit natin, no, kasi nga tipid and sufficient naman sila for our plumbing system. So we have here our general regulations. So una, kailangan daw na yung thickness ng pipe na pwedeng i-thread is schedule 80 pataas. Hindi kasi enough yung wall thickness mo which makes it not safe enough to thread uh, without weakening the pipe. Okay? Pangalawa, yung pipe joint material mo which is yung ginamit mo to create a watertight connection, ginagamit mo to create a watertight connection between the pipe and the fitting should be applied only sa male thread, no? Meaning yung end na pinapasok, yun yung lalagyan mo ng pipe joint material. And medyo common sense naman to no? Example kasi ng pipe joint material natin is the Teflon tape. Never mo namang maa-apply yan sa female thread, di ba? Kasi nirarap mo yan dun sa sa end na ipapasok mo. Okay? Pero in the cases of pastes, pwedeng ipahid kasi sa di ba? Pwedeng ipahid sa loob ng female thread. Pero let us not do that, no? Mas maganda na sa male thread ka maglagay kasi pagka pinasok mo na, it can push out the excess material na nilagay mo. Okay? Pagka sa female thread mo nilagay yung joint material, it pushes the joint material in, no? Doon sa loob ng pipe. So, mas okay kasi na walang excess na joint material na napupunta sa loob. Okay? Lastly, plastic pipes and fittings jointed by solvent cement shall comply with IAPA standards. So ano ba kasi yung solvent cement? Ito, chemical joining material yan and what it does is parang dinidissolve na yung surface ng pipe tsaka fitting para makapag-bond sila as one piece, no? So para siyang welding using chemicals. So dapat it complies with IAPA standards para para lang sa safety tsaka quality ng joint connection. Okay? First plastic pipe material, we have the acrylonitrile butadiene styrene or the ABS. So itong tatlong nasa pangalan niya guys, these three contributes to its strength and durability. No? So basahin nyo na lang to, basta yung contribution of each. Okay? So si ABS is commonly ginagamit siya sa sanitary lines as drain waste and vent pipes. So ito hindi siya pwede sa labas kasi nagde-degrade siya when exposed to sunlight. So yung UV resistance natin dito mababa. Okay? So ito yung max temperature na kaya niya, no? So that is 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So next, we have PVC. So strong, rigid, and economical daw sila. And it may or it may not have plasticizers. Pero all this does is increase its flexibility, no? Pagka madami tayong plasticizers. So yung pipes are not for plumbing anymore pagka madami tayong plasticizers, no? Tapos naging flexible na yung, yung pipe natin. So we have here the PVC pipe colors for their respective use. So blue para sa tubig, gray, orange and brown naman para sa dumi, no? So generally, ito yung max temperature na kaya ng PVC. But for other types of PVC, yung mga minamodify natin, no, it can be greater. Okay? So dito meron tayong dalawang types ng PVC na i-discuss. Una is the UPVC, which is the PVC na unplasticized, meaning we are omitting the addition of plasticizers, no? Dahil dyan, rigid na rigid yung pipe. Okay? It is also resistant to sunlight. So pagka kinompare natin to sa general PVC pipes that has plasticizers, so these are less prone to UV degradation. Reason being that yung UPVC natin does not contain plasticizers na nagde-degrade under sunlight. Okay? Which is why pwede siyang gamitin guys for outdoor applications. So ginagamit din siya for high temperature applications. So kaya niyang i-withstand at least yung init, no? Pero pag sobrang init na, wag na. Okay? Just make sure na until the max service temperature lang yung hot water na i-carry niya. Okay? At dahil nga sa guys, sa UV resistance niya, you can see UPVC as materials for window frames, door frames, cladding, gutters, and downspouts which are nasa labas and exposed sa sunlight. Okay? So we also have the CPVC, which is almost similar lang sa general PVC pipes, no? Ang kaibahan lang dito is that the CPVC has higher chlorine content. Okay? Which makes it more UV resistant compared to UPVC. Dahil din dito, mas mataas na temperature yung kaya niyang i-withstand. Okay? So, pwede siyang gamitin for water supply lines, both cold and hot, no? So, typically, si CPVC is colored as beige or white. Okay? So, we also have the polybutylene. So, black colored pipe daw siya, but it can be gray and blue. Mas common nga yung mga kulay na yan kaysa sa black, no? Tapos, oval shape daw siya. Basahin nyo na lang yung guys, yung pullets 3 to 5. Okay? So, ito guys, ginagamit siya dati, no? Pero ngayon, hindi na kasi may problema sa kanyang long-term reliability and durability. Actually, I've read somewhere na tinatawag dati ito na pipe of the future, no? So na-overhype siya on marketing. So sabi nila dati, mapapadali yung installation ng pipes dito kasi you can bend them, no? So mangyari may iwasan mo yung joint connections. Kumbaga, di mo na kailangan ng mga bend na fitting para mag-iba ng direction yung pipe run. But instead, you can just bend your pipe, no? Yung mismong pipe mo na lang yung i-bend mo, no? Para mag-iba tayo ng direction. Okay? Chemical and corrosion resistant din daw siya. Mura, tsaka magaan. Ano pa? Tapos daw, magtatagal daw, no? So, less daw yung magiging maintenance and di ka magpapalit ng pipe for a long time. Ayun yung mga sinasabi, no? So, foolproof plumbing daw. Kaya lang yung hype, hindi nagtagal, guys, no? Kasi napapansin ng mga taong gumagamit nito na madaming problema sa kanya, no? From leaking to degradation in its strength. Okay? Next, we also have the polyethylene or the PE. Actually, itong PE tsaka PB, dinidiscuss sila together, no? Kasi parang yung description nila, nung nag-review kami, parang magkapareho lang, no? Si PE, black din daw siya na pipe, pero unlike kay PB, oval shape, si PE, circular shape kasi, no? Okay, so basahin nyo na lang yung ibang bullets dito guys, So si PE, mas madaming uses to. It is used for water supply system, irrigation, etc. etc. And included din dyan si LPG connections. Okay? So we have here the types of PE. Una si high density PE. So from the name itself, mataas yung density, no? Ibig sabihin, compact siya. So medyo ox yung walls ng pipes na to for the following applications. So etong nasa second and third bullet, okay? And with that being said, yung walls natin makapal and contrary to the LDPE, which we will be discussing next. So eto rigid siya guys, no? So stiff yung pipe natin. Si LDPE naman, sure ako familiar kayo dito guys, no? So ito yung ginagamit ng mga farmers natin para sa patubig nila. So yung nairo-roll yun na black na pipe. Ayan yun, no? Minsan hinihila-hila din to ng di ba? Ng mga naka-tricycle or pagka naka-hand tractor, yung mga farmers. Okay? So ito yun. Okay? So si LDPE, manipis yung walls, tas flexible siya, no? So nabibend-bend mo to, kaya nga naro-roll yun, no? So meron din tayong PEX. So dito yung molecules ng polyethylene is cross-linked for improved strength, heat resistance, and flexibility. Kaya nagiging cross-linked PE yung pangalan. Okay? So ginagamit natin to for water supply lines. So good siya for both hot and cold. And ginagamitan natin to ng push fittings. So, ang ginagawa natin sa connection natin on push fitting is una, kailangan meron tayong pipe insert. Isipin nyo na lang na ano na, paano ba to? Na parang support siya sa opening ng pipe. Parang ganun, no? And then, ipupush lang natin yung pipe dun sa may push fitting natin, no? Ay, meron pala akong figure dito. So, ito yan, no? Ito yung push fitting. So, mangyayari guys, ulitin ko una, kailangan na meron tayong pipe insert. So, isipin nyo na lang na parang ano yon, support sa opening ng pipe. And then, ipupush lang natin yung pipe dun sa may push fitting. And then, maglalak yan. Okay? Last, we have the polypropylene copolymer or the PPR. So, basahin nyo na lang yung iba dito guys, no? Almost magkakaparehas lang kasi sila from the, eto tsaka yung ibang pipes. Okay? Yung key difference nito from the other pipes is mataas yung max service temperature niya. Okay? Yan, 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Tulad ng CPVC, pero iba kasi yung connection natin sa CPVC guys eh. So dito we are using fusion welding. So si fusion welding, we are just using heat para ma-connect natin yung dalawang pipe using a fusion welding machine. So ang goal sa fusion welding is maging monolithic yung dalawang pipe na pinag-connect natin. Okay? As for the sizing standard nito, magkaiba daw yung sizing natin for metric and English, no? So for metric or millimeters, it is one pipe size larger daw than the inches. Okay? So parang ganito siya guys. Ayan. Pagka tinignan natin yung 20 millimeters, so if that is directly converted, o 3/4 yan, no? Which is yung pangalawa dito sa English or sa inches. So ito yan, di ba? So sa metric, yan yung nauna no? So ayun yung sinasabi niya kanina na sa metric, one pipe size larger tayo. Okay? So that is for the pipe materials that we use in plumbing. Okay? O see you sa next na lecture video. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.